a tweet out that we're going to go live, but I couldn't do what I wanted to do with my phone, so they said I have to meet some kind of requirement, so I'm just going to not do that. But I'm going to send out a tweet. Oh shoot. Who? Oh, my own audio, right? Oh. Oh, my bad. If it says 16, that's my fault. It's all right. I'll change it in afterwards. Hey. Just because I had bad ideas and I had a bad segment doesn't mean that I was not on point. Oh, it was a bad segment. And I exactly, Carlito. and now I'm live and everybody can hear me live because I just came on just to respond to that. But let me go back. Let me go back to muting myself. For those people that heard me, we're about to get started in 1 minute, 8:30.
Sorry, we're not live, right?
No, not yet.
Sorry, Case, is the love always your mother-in-law?
We now live, baby. See, this is how we do it. We come on hot. We come on hot with John talking about somebody's mother. Anyway.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Hold on, let me start the show. What's up, everybody? This is CaseStudyQB, and we are the political junkies back at it again, ready to have some fun. We ready to do a news show. We got some hot news coming on today, and we're not going to talk about nobody's moms, even though John wants us to talk about people's mothers, but we're not going to do it in this show. That's the next show.
Oh, hi, Gabe.
But I want to say one thing. I want to give a shout out to my guys, my political junkies, because this is the 17th episode, which means we've been doing one show a week. We're 4 weeks and 1 week. So we've been doing it 4 months. 4 months and 1 week that we've been doing this show. And I want to thank them for, without them, I would not be doing this right now. We just clipping videos and you guys wouldn't hear my voice or anything. So much love to my political junkies on screen and off screen. For those people in the chat room, we're going to have fun. We're going to be doing some trivia questions. So I want you in the chat room to answer these questions as well. But we're going to be taking score with my fellow political junkies. And we also added Ben Doan, who's in the background on Twitch. So much love to our guy over there. And let's get this party started. Anybody want to say anything? We got Carlito, we got John, we got Gabe, we got Izzy. And anybody want to start off saying anything?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
I'm back. I'm back as Speaker of the House.
That's right. Anybody else want to say? Gabe, go ahead. What you want to say?
That's what we said. They weren't going to put Ro Khanna. They weren't going to put nobody. Ro Khanna's not going to be senator. He's not going to be dog catcher. They're not going to make nobody nothing except Pelosi and Schumer.
So let's talk about that real quick. Before we even get started, I want to talk about Elizabeth Warren getting snubbed. She got snubbed. She got no love.
Surprise.
And let's give a shout out to Felipe. Felipe's somewhere out there, but you know his girl didn't get Treasury Secretary. Go ahead, John.
The only one that thought that she was going to get something was Felipe, right? Like Elizabeth, Felipe and Elizabeth were the only two that thought that they were actually going to be considered for the Treasury Secretary. So basically, she sold her soul for absolutely nothing in return.
Totally.
She called Bernie a sexist. Yep. She didn't drop out. She didn't endorse Bernie. Yep. She didn't endorse Bernie in 2016. She's literally has done everything that you can wrong politically with the goal of getting ahead. She thought she was going to be VP. She thought she was going to be something, and she's getting nothing. I can't decide who's worse at politics, her or Bernie. It is a coin flip because they're both the worst politicians. They have good policies. Warren's policies aren't terrible sometimes, unless she's flip-flopping between Medicare for All and Medicare for All Part 1 or Part 2, whatever she's talking about. It's she's a mess.
Yeah.
So you really can't decide between her or Bernie, though, for real.
I mean, who's the worst politician?
Who's the worst politician?
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Okay, and you really can't decide between
Bernie dropped out of the presidency without getting any concessions, and he got what do they call him, John? He got the committees, the task force. So he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad.
Bernie
He won multiple states,
Yeah.
and Elizabeth
No,
Warren
but that's
won
not
nothing.
politician. I'm talking
That's
about
not
the Game of
supposed to do
Thrones.
anything.
I'm talking about the chess moves, the
So you're just
power
talking
moves.
about politics. You're not talking about being a
Politics.
politician. You're just talking about the
Is it-
backroom.
I'm talking about the
politics
Game of
nonsense.
Thrones. The Game of
Is it-
Thrones.
Well, we
Easy,
all
we
know that Bernie never liked playing those kind of games. That's the reason why he's not the president-elect right now.
That's the reason why he's a bad politician.
Yeah, he didn't because he wants to be straight up. He didn't want to play those games in South Carolina, kissing butt, and all that kind of stuff.
Bernie built a movement to then just give it up for absolutely nothing.
Bernie was Bernie. We all knew who Bernie was. He was who he was. Warren was a politician who was really, really bad at being a politician. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, she tried to play the games that Gabe is talking about, and she lost horribly. She got nothing. She got nothing for all of her losing. She got nothing.
Yeah.
Imagine the flip side. Imagine if she endorses Bernie in 2016. Bernie wins Massachusetts. Maybe he gets a little more momentum just off of the Massachusetts win, just the way that Joe Biden got his South Carolina momentum. Maybe just put one more state in his column. Maybe he gets 3 more. He wins. Now he wins, and he probably makes her VP just off of that one endorsement. But because she made such a bad decision, she thought Hillary's going to pick her for something. Hillary didn't even win, so she's notorious for backing the wrong horse. And when she does back the right horse, she gets nothing for it.
I mean, I don't think that was a horrible bet, as a politician for her back in 2016.
Of course you don't.
But the worst bet was her running in 2020. That's the bad part, because after, she knew she didn't get anything off of that 2016. And I mean, what was she going to do? Bernie was popular. She wasn't going to be more popular than Bernie. All she was doing is playing spoiler. And now she got nothing in return for that. So 2016 was horrible.
Yeah.
But I could see it from her point of view that, okay, if Hillary wins, I could get something. 2020, she should have known better.
So let me ask this question. Is there any redeemable quality of Elizabeth Warren? Can she make up and come back again in 2024 and you guys say, okay, at least she did this and that?
Nope.
No, wait. You mean to run? No, to run? No.
Okay.
I would say redeeming quality of her is that she could actually be a progressive vote.
Okay.
On the Senate.
So if she voted for
she's going to lose the Senate. She's going to lose the Senate. That's why she wanted to go to a cabinet position.
Wait, you think
she's going to lose the Senate?
She could endorse whoever the progressive is against Kamala. That would be a nice olive branch to the progressives. And if somebody goes in against Kamala, maybe not Stacey Abrams, maybe Nina Turner, and she endorses Nina Turner, that would be fierce. Ooh, but
I don't see her
because it would be a fierce move. We know it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, we
know she won't because you're gonna put the snake emoji and she's gonna get upset about it. So she won't do it.
You're toxic.
She didn't endorse the establishment progressive Bernie. You think she's gonna endorse the fireball that is Nina Turner? There's no way.
Oh, no way. There's no way.
It's not happening. So let me ask you this, since we're in the topic. So is your boy Andrew Yang gonna get anything?
Oh, God.
That's another one.
Another one.
He dropped out early. He endorsed early. He's getting that CNN money.
Hey, he went into the Breakfast Club and he said that he was promised a cabinet position. So I'm waiting to see that.
He's gonna be director. He's gonna be
director of interior design.
Interior design.
Yeah, they're gonna give Rahm Emanuel something before they give.
You're gonna put him in the post office. He's gonna be the director of the post office.
Yeah, I hope they don't give Rahm Emanuel. While we're on it, I hope they don't give Rahm Emanuel anything. He doesn't deserve any position anywhere near Capitol Hill. What you guys think?
Come on, man. Biden's gonna take care of Obama's boy. He's part of the crew, man.
Oh man, I'll be so disappointed. I think there's even some establishment progressives, if you could even put that term together, that would say they wouldn't like that at all. I've seen people in the mainstream media.
That would be the biggest. The Democrats have slapped the black votes in the face for generation after generation. This would be like the final move right there. This would be like, you know what? This is how we want to thank the black vote. We're going to give this guy cabinet positions. So thank you for putting us in office, but we don't really care about it. That's
let's
how
say
bad
why.
it is.
Let's say why, because I didn't like this guy before, but let's say why he's extra bad. Because when he was mayor of Chicago, there was a big case, a murder by cops, and he basically kept it on the hush hush, helped the cops hide evidence, and didn't release anything until after he got reelected with the help of the black vote. And then all of a sudden, he was, everything came out afterwards. He was trying to keep it on the hush just so he could win, and he didn't want to have the cops on his bad side. So this dude is a political machine, but it's always to punch progressives, always to punch the little people, always to punch, black people. He's just a horrible person all around.
Well, as our boy Kikabella would say, I mean, he's from Chicago, so that's the first red flag right there. Like, he's a Chicago politician, so you already know he's bad news.
Yep. And let me just explain myself. When I say an establishment progressive, right, because that's an oxymoron, I saw, I can't think of his name the other day. He was on MSNBC, and he was saying, oh, progressives like myself. And I'm looking at him like, I know you're not a progressive, brother. Come on, man. So it's like, to me, an establishment progressive is somebody who claims that they're progressive, but we know, like me, among us progressive people that support Medicare for all and all the other progressive things, we know they not progressive. They just in name only.
There's somebody who joined the progressive caucus.
Yeah. Hopefully they change their rules to weed out the herd and just have some real progressives there, man. That would be nice. That would be very nice. All right, so I'm going to show this meme of the week right now. Let me show that right here. And I thought this was a nice little meme to start off the show with. The first box says, everyone's still sick and unemployed. And this is just a regular person, but a person with a DNC shirt says, oh, Biden inherited this mess from Trump. Give him some time. The next box, Biden still hasn't helped us. DNC, he wants to, but Republicans won't let him. Vote Democratic in the midterms. And that's in 2022. So here's thank you for saying that. So the third box now, and this is the next year, 2023, the person he says, I'm dying here. And the DNC person says, Republicans picked up some more seats. Maybe Biden should have spent more political capital 2 years ago. And then here's the final box in 2024 where the person has finally died and the DNC person is saying, this is the most important election ever. You have to vote or Ted Cruz will make America even more fascist. So
and the guy is it's a tombstone that says dead, not voting.
Yep.
Lather, rinse, repeat every 4 years. It's the same thing. It's there. They always tell you that you have to vote blue no matter who. You have to vote against the evil on the right, whether it's George Bush, whether it is Trump, whether it's anyone, and really not giving the people anything to vote for. So it's hard to give policy, and it's hard to have a platform that inspires people. It's easy to just say we're not them, and the Democrats continue to say just we're not them, and that's supposed to be what attracts people. And this time it worked only because we had a historically unpopular person. But again, Biden, literally the clock starts January 20th. He has 4 years to do something. If not, he's very likely going to lose to whoever runs against him in 2024. And that goes for Kamala too, if she's on the ticket and he's not.
The clock already started, man. You get to see it. What are the Democrats doing? You lose a bunch of House seats, you don't get the Senate, and you still keep your leaders. So it's like, how do you hold your leadership accountable? So that's already giving us everything that's the same, right? They are like, oh, Nancy's gonna be our speaker. Chuck is gonna be our speaker. So it's like, well, if they really wanted to show us something, they could at least pretend to be like, okay, well, maybe we'll have some folks running against them and see. But it's like unanimously goes in, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna keep the same people. So you don't even hold your leadership accountable. So it's going to be the exact same thing. That's going to be 2022. They're going to lose the House, and they're not going to get the Senate. And then 2024, they're going to say that it's going to be like, oh, the next Trump is going to be worse than the first Trump. Please go out. This is the most important election ever, and do the exact same thing.
And you're never allowed to criticize from the left. You're never allowed to say, hey, now that you're in, we want this and this and this from you. They just like this, the meme says, They want you to just follow blindly and just support no matter what. And any slight criticism, you're getting hammered for it. So now we're looking at the potential cabinet picks for Joe Biden across the board, and a lot of them are looking terrible. And we're not seeing any olive branches to the left, at least that I have seen. So there's not even like a little hey maybe. And one thing we were talking about in our group chat before this episode was what was it? It was about I lost my train of thought. Sorry guys.
Yeah, no worries. Basically, I think that we're gonna get this show started. We're gonna go from on this topic, and I'm gonna have a couple questions that I want to ask you. Go ahead, Gabe.
Oh, I got my thought. So it was when we were talking. Oh shit! I lost it again. I'm fried.
Oh my God, Gabe.
I had it. I lost it. I'm gonna get it before the end of the episode.
Just forget it. No, don't bother. It's over. It passed.
One thing we have to give Biden credit for is that he was honest and he said that nothing was going to fundamentally change. And what he did was he went to the trash can. He went to the trash can and he pulled out the trash from before and brought him in. So it's like every single thing. So when people were like, "Oh, we're winning. It's so diverse. It's a lot of women. It's this and that." All he's taking is everything from Obama and bringing it back. So the only people that are really winning is Wall Street. So and we can't say anything either. You God forbid, like, "Oh, why you guys always, going after the Democrats and stuff like that?" Because this is the things that they do, and they're supposed to be the representative of the people. But
and what we were talking about was the Republicans and how Biden is more likely to move towards the Republicans and appoint Republicans. That was what we were talking about in the group before, rather than the left. And there's this myth going on that the Republicans came over and helped vote Biden in, and because of that, he should reciprocate and give them positions in the cabinet, when the statistics that have been out there have shown that Republicans didn't vote for Joe Biden. In fact, there was just historic turnout and a unifying of the base across, whether it's progressive, centrist, whoever, all back Joe Biden. That's what got him elected. But they're giving you the fake message, and the fake message is that, oh yeah, it was the Republicans that came over too. They didn't. It's not a thing. It didn't happen.
I would have believed that if Ohio would have went blue, but their savior Kasich couldn't even deliver Ohio.
So, John, to your point, with our first story that we're going to talk about are some actions that a president can take unilaterally without any congressional approval. And if he can be pressured to take that action, this can help keep the Republicans from gaining popularity or gaining back seats and instead keeping the Senate in 2022. That's what we're going to talk about in our first segment. But I first want to give a shout out to our guy, Robert Wilson, and who's in the chat room. So, he said, let the debates begin. So, Robert, just because of you, man, last week, we're going to really be audience heavy this show. So, if you know how you like to start debates with your questions, we really want to cater to the audience this week. And any questions you have, throw it in there and we're going to get to it and we're going to debate it out. All right?
If you're watching, like and share, because the like doesn't cost you anything, and that'll help us get seen by more people. Share the link with anybody that might be interested, and subscribe.
Yeah, much love to that. But first, with the audience as well, I'm going to throw out 3 trivia questions, and our guy John is going to be scoring the political junkies. All right. So this is going to be the first segment, or first question, set of questions. True or false? The Trump administration looked into the importation of lower cost prescription drugs from Canada. Is this true or false? Okay, so Gabe says true.
False.
True.
John says false. Izzy says
false.
True. Carlito.
It's true, but I'll explain why it's like barely true.
Okay, so John, you're the only one that got this wrong. Everybody else got this right. Now, I have the receipts, but is it worth it to bring up the receipts, or I don't want to delay this show?
He looked into it, but it was after the fact, after he lost. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't ask that question right there, because you talk about like, was it pre-election or after election? So you kind of like.
Here we go. Now we got to do a recap.
So after no, a fun fact. After Trump was elected, There was a bipartisan bill in Congress that was in the Senate for drug reimportation from other countries, including Canada. And it had bipartisan support, Democrats and Republicans. And who were the ones that voted it down? The Democrats and Republicans that got paid by the pharmaceutical company. So we could have already had, reimportation of drugs from other countries. For example, insulin is something that's always brought up as a drug that is much cheaper in other countries, whether it's Canada or Mexico. People drive over the border to go get their cheaper prescription and then come back because it's more efficient to do that sometimes than to get it here.
You're talking about the vote like years ago when it happened?
Yeah. That vote was very early on in the. It was either that it wasn't the end. It was the beginning of the Trump administration where that came up, like the first year. Yeah. Ted Cruz was a co-sponsor on it too.
It happened before under. It was either under. I might be wrong, but it happened either late Bush or early Obama. It happened.
No. I'm talking about under Trump specifically.
A different time. It came up again.
Yeah, I mean, okay, there's another one then, but I know it happened back then too.
No, so you might have heard the question wrong, Carlito. I'm talking about the Trump administration looked into it specifically.
No, I heard, they looked into it recently.
Not recently.
After they lost, though. That's
not after they lost. No, not after they lost. So here's the receipt. And I think what Gabe was referring to was I think Cory Booker was like one of the people that voted it down, right?
It was January 2017. It was so it was basically literally the last days of the Obama administration, right before Trump came in. But this is progressives were outraged that Cory Booker voted against it, and then we all said, "Of course he did."
So this is my receipt where it talked about this is an actual document from the HHS.gov website where it says, under President Trump's leadership, blah blah blah, and basically, he did look into it, but did they actually do anything about it after they looked into it? And that's new. All right, so the next question here, true or false? All right, so John, you took down those tallies?
Yeah.
All right, good.
I'm the only one that got it wrong.
True, all right, true or false? The Trump administration canceled student debt for certain Americans. Is that true or false?
True.
Easy says true.
And I know which ones.
True.
See, you gave it away now. He knows.
I could be wrong.
He could be wrong.
True. I'm wrong about a lot of things.
Yeah, it's true. He gave the clue.
True. So it is true. The answer is true. Everybody got that right. His education secretary canceled student debt automatically for 25,000 disabled veterans, implementing part of the Higher Education Opportunity Act of 2008. And the reason why I bring this up is because this is one of the things that Biden can do when he becomes president. He has the authority to take away the student loan debt for people who have federal loans. And I think there's like $1 trillion or more worth of federal student loans. All right, so I'm going to go straight to the third one. Izzy, did you want to say something about that?
No, just that Bedon said that he allegedly did it only for those who went to Trump University, which is hilarious.
All right, funny. Third one, true or false? Trump administration went around Congress to create regulation to make it harder to get food stamps. Is that true or false?
I would say true.
True.
Going off of everything else, I'm gonna say true because everything.
You gotta throw some curveballs, man.
Yeah, I do.
The first two were curveballs. You wouldn't think that Trump looked into lowered prescription drug prices and canceled student loan debt. That's a curveball.
Yeah. All right. So it is true. Though, and I got to figure out how to switch up these answers because some of them are a little bit tricky. But anyway, go ahead, John. You got that? So far, you're the only one that's not ahead. Everybody else is above. All right.
But you're only down by one, so you got plenty of time to catch up.
You got time to catch up. Any words from the audience before we go into the actual story?
No, nothing yet.
Nothing yet. All right. So let me go ahead. Bring that up. I'm sorry, guys.
It's live, baby. That's what we do. That's what happens.
That's what happens when we go live. All right, so bam. this is what we have right here. Let me go into the question. Okay, action a president can take without Congress. And this story is from the American Prospect. Got to give a shout out to the author David Dayen. And he talks about some specific actions that a president can do. And it's very interesting here. One of the things that I'm going to read, and like I mentioned before, all right, it was student loan debt. So it says he can lower prescription drug prices. He can cancel student debt, break up the big banks, give everybody who wants one bank account, or give whoever wants one a bank account, counteract the dominance of monopoly power, protect farmers from price discrimination and unfair dealing, and force divestment from fossil fuel projects. These are just a few of the things. I'm not even going to everything, but these are some major things that a president can do without any congressional action. And a lot of things are already on the books also that people, presidents in the past have not taken advantage of. For example, breaking up monopolies. That's already on the books. What you guys think about this?
Yeah, I think that site came up with like a whole 30, like a 30-point plan or something like that on what Biden can execute on day one. And, you know, I love it in the sense that, you know, obviously we need all of those actions to be taken day one. You know, we're at the point now where we need to undo everything Trump has done and then some. And when I say some, I mean a lot. But one thing that does kind of scare me or bother me, though, is like how much, you know, power the executive branch still has without really those checks and balances, you know. I don't like that Biden can just easily do these things as Trump just did them. As, you know, I wish we had a real government that relied on checks and balances, and we just don't. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I am glad he has them, and I'm also glad that the Republicans have them too, because it gets them to show their cards. So if Joe Biden was able to do these good things, he likely would get reelected and the Democrats will continue to get reelected, but he probably won't do any of these awesome things that are on the list. And because of that, it's going to be a toss-up next time. So if he actually did go and cancel student debt and say that going forward public college would be free or stuff like that, like, it would be insane. It would be in a good way that you would be freeing a whole generation of debt. Even something so simple as the bank accounts. It goes, oh, why is that important? But that's it. That's an issue I'm passionate about, because so many people, I think it was, I don't know if it was Nina Turner that said this, but it's really expensive to be poor. So if you're poor, you don't have a bank account, you have to go and cash your check in the check cashing place, and they take like 3%. And then if you need to send somebody pay your rent, you have to pay with a money order. That's like another $4 or $5. And then you have to go do all these things where if you just had a checking account, that would be free. You know, we have our go ahead.
But sometimes like these banks now, you know, they're like, oh, you have to have a minimum balance, so you have to have direct deposit, or you have to do this. If not, we're going to charge you $12, $13, $14 a month. You know, so it's like they got to get rid of that too.
But that's part of the whole initiative that as part of that day one plan that they put together, where if they did this, if they, you know, guaranteed a bank account for every American, I'm not saying it would be done like through the post office necessarily, but, you know, it would be some government run program that I'm assuming wouldn't have these kinds of limitations, but who knows?
And I want to say another example is something that happened to a family member, is that they try to put your paycheck inside a debit card instead of just giving you the check or putting it in a bank account. So then you have to pay fees to withdraw money out of your own money, to take your own money out. So they put in some kind of debit card run by, you know, some company that pays the you know, the employer a percentage or whatever. So that's another way that they try to get them. But I also wanted to say that, you know, I share a little bit of Izzy's concerns, but not as much as I fear the Democrats' lack of exercising their power. They're the only ones that follow norms that are not rules. They use norms. So if there's norms, that means you don't have to follow them. If we want them to be followed, they have to be put into legislation. Like, don't let the president do this, that, or the other thing. Because when the Republicans get in there, they do whatever they want. When the Democrats go in, they handcuff themselves and they don't do what they can do. You know, the article.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, now the article said that the Democrats, they don't know the difference between control and power. They like to go and win elections and take control, but they don't do anything useful with that control.
Yeah, agreed. There's no doubt that Biden or any other Democrat is just not going to have the wherewithal to really, or just the courage, I guess, to really enact any of this. But one question I wanted to throw out to you guys is, so we know that, let's say Biden were to take all these actions day one, which we know he won't, then how do we avoid, essentially what happens is at the end of every administration, we just have a flip-flop, right? The next president comes in, is going to be a Republican, is going to want to undo everything Biden just did, plus it's just the same cycle every single time. So how do we avoid that going forward? How do we avoid Obama coming in, doing these executive actions, Trump coming in and undoing them, and then Biden coming in? It's not effective governing.
Well, legislation, that's when they have to come in. The Republicans like to talk a lot of crap when it's the Democrats in charge. The Democrats talk crap when the Republicans in charge, but they actually don't do as much when they got the chance. So they have to be the ones to put it into legislation. Even if they handcuff themselves a little bit, they could shame, as much as you could shame a Republican into saying like, hey, listen, you talk all this crap. Let's do this. I'm hurting myself being Biden by not allowing such stunts. Put it into a law right now that there's going to be this extra restrictions. And most likely they're going to say no. But well, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, they might say yes and then just take it to the Supreme Court later after Republicans in charge and let them turn it over.
This is my answer.
Yeah, but you gotta also think about, like, you gotta do the right ones, like cancel student debt, right? Like, that everybody knows that that's going to help the economy because it's going to bring more people's money into their pocket. It's going to be people going to spend more on things. So that's something that they could say, well, when we were in charge, the economy went, because everybody knows the economy. And we know a lot of people, and we saw that with 70 million people voting for Trump, with a lot of times some of those folks that you talk to, they're like, well, Trump was good for my pocket. Trump was good for me. So that could be a point. You cancel student loans. That's something that it could be powerful. Maybe you don't do all the other stuff, like you said, like, okay, well, what are those saying, like, take away, like, the next president taking this one away, but you do the right one that's going to change people's life and is going to get people to remember, then it may make an impact on who wins, the next 3-4 elections. You never know.
Totally.
We got to be selective, though, because the ones that the who likes, because Republicans might like taking money away from the they took money away from coronavirus from the military in order to build a wall or something like that. So they might like that because they think coronavirus is a hoax and they want to build a wall because they hate immigrants. So they might like that and vote for Trump because of it. So, it's selective.
So it's also the thing, but you also know, like, we also know, real quick, sorry, Andrew, you also know, it's like, we know there was some Latinos here that was like, oh, when is the Trump check is coming in? So, like, like little things like that, like you get, you put money in people's pocket, then you put money in people's pocket, then you, like, people knows that, like, they're going to remember that and they're going to vote for you.
Yeah, I think you got to make a big splash, make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, I'm going in the direction of what John was saying.
Marijuana.
Hold on. Can I say something? Can I get in here? Lord have mercy. So to answer Izzy's question, I'm in the direction of John. Definitely, I think you have to do big moves, right? Something that you will have public opinion. You have to change people's lives, and I think Gabe could even agree with me on this. You change people's lives. Like when you cancel all the student loans, they approximated that about $3,000 that will put back into people who have debts into their pockets. So that's a big stimulus, which is forgiving student loan debt from people who went to college, and also all these other various things. If it's big enough, they can't reverse that in 4 years. Cause I understand your point, is like you have one Democratic person come in there and put in one policy, and then the next person. And an example of that is DACA, right? Trump didn't totally get rid of DACA, even though that was an executive order, but he knows how popular DACA is. Even amongst conservatives, DACA is a very popular program. So he couldn't just come in and get rid of that. And then another side of this that was in that article is that the Supreme Court, and I think Gabe was about to go, or Carlito was about to go to this with the Supreme Court, they know that they can't go over public opinion. So if something is very popular and it came to their desk, even they know that they do not want to overturn that popular, if it's a truly popular policy. They know, like, and I think Roberts did that with Obamacare. He only struck down a little part of it, but he didn't strike down the whole thing. So somebody else, go ahead.
Another part of the examples that you gave, some of those examples, is that it's not the president just coming up and making law out of whole cloth. They're using old legislation to do new policies. They're using what's already in the book. So it's not the same as saying like, all right, I'm just going to do this and make it up. You know, they're actually looking at previous legislation and see how they can massage it to something new.
I agree, but I also agree with your previous point that you have to turn these things into legislation, like long-term legislation. And how do you do that? You have to have Congress. So that, you know, that kind of goes back to my original point. Like the executive branch shouldn't have these powers to just, you know, throw things out there willy-nilly, because if they can just easily be reversed, then I mean, what kind of governing are we doing every 4 years, you know?
But the flip side is, if you do get this Biden administration and they don't have the Senate, they're not going to get anything done. Literally nothing. So the executive action is at least what's it, break lever in case of emergency, that you could get something through.
Mm-hmm. But it's how we're doing most of our governing these days too, you know. So I see both sides of the coin, you know.
Yeah, it will also be interesting. Adrian brought up the good point about the Supreme Court. It will also be interesting, like how they're going to rule in the next, you know, couple cases. You know, we definitely, because there's going to be a lot of folks, you know, there's a lot of people that lost trust in the Supreme Court, that they don't trust it. So it'll be interesting how they gain it back, you know, to see. So that's something good to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. Any last words before we move on to the next segment? All right. So let us know in the comments below if you have any questions, or if you have any thoughts on what we just talked about as far as the executive office having these powers. Do you agree with Izzy? Should we decrease the power that the executive have? Do you think Biden is actually going to do anything with his executive power without going through Congress? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. All right. Now I saw everybody's good. I thought I saw John, your video went off for a second, but I think it's back to normal.
Gay fixed it.
Okay. All right. Let's look in the chat room. I think everybody, any questions from the chat?
No updates there.
No updates. All right. So we're going to go to the next set of questions. First question, true or false? Trump is a socialist when it comes to helping farmers.
True.
A socialist when it comes to helping farmers. I'm going to say true.
All right. I see everybody else. Yeah. So that was the easy one. I think that was spoke about a couple of times, about how Trump gave money to, you know, I don't know if it was billions, but he gave money to the farmers because of the trade agreement that he made that really messed up their living. And he actually like kind of bought them off. So nobody talked about it in that terms, though, that Trump is a socialist when it comes to farmers. All right.
Because it's because Democrats suck at branding. If they did that, if they branded the bailout, or not the bailout, but was it the program for coronavirus that came out where they were giving the money to corporations? They should have branded that as corporate socialism, but they didn't, which then opened the door for the Republicans to attack them as socialists during the election. So it's all about controlling the narrative.
Message. Yeah, definitely. Messaging is a big deal. We gotta learn how to do that. All right, the next question. Who said this lie?
True.
I know, right? Oh, you got it right. You got it right. Nah. Who said this lie? So this is a different type of question, period. So you got to answer, did Obama say it or did Trump say it? All right. So here's the quote. Our high school dropout rate has tripled in the past 30 years. Who said this, Obama or Trump?
Obama.
Okay.
Trump.
Okay, Gabe or Carlito.
I mean, it's true.
So therefore, Obama.
I just don't think Trump got those big words in him.
Case is throwing them fast and high, so I'm just gonna go true.
Oh, Lord.
No, it's not true. It's Trump or Obama.
Yeah,
Oh, Trump. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Trump.
So, okay, let me go through this again. So,
Yeah.
Gabe says Trump. Izzy said,
I'm gonna say Trump, even though since it's true, it should be probably Obama.
so who you going to put?
I'm gonna say Trump.
Trump. Okay, Gabe and Izzy says Trump. Carlito.
Everybody said Trump except me. So this is my comeback right here.
Yeah.
I win or lose in this one.
All right, I'm gonna say Trump too, just
Drum
to keep
roll.
John
Yo,
down.
here, you ready? You ready?
Final Jeopardy.
John is back, baby. John is back.
John is in the game.
He's in the game. So
Dude,
yeah,
I knew those words were too big for Trunk.
I
So
should
that
have
was,
known it.
Obama.
If it's a true
Yeah.
statistic, it has to not be Trump because he doesn't do anything right.
Izzy,
or
you
true.
said Obama first, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I
switched it.
switched. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was March 10th, 2009 that Obama said this lie. But I don't know if it was a slip or what, but yeah, that was definitely Obama that put this in. All right, so the next one. Who said this, Obama or Trump? The vast majority of the money I got was from small donors all across the country.
Trump.
Trump.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Trump.
Everybody said Trump?
Yeah.
Drum roll. Nobody got this right. It was Obama.
Oh, Adrian's throwing the sliders now.
Obama. So
Man.
The breaking balls.
April 21st.
Jeez, I wanted to say Obama, but I know he got so
Yeah.
much money from like Citibank and those people, man.
Exactly. So April 21st, 2010, this was Obama who said this. And yeah, it was a lie. All right. Final question for this segment. Who said it, Obama or Trump? Keep in mind the previous administration had been helping them, giving billions of dollars and just asking nothing in return. And as a hint, this has to do with the auto industry. So that's what they're
Wait, say
talking
that
about.
again.
Say one more time.
So I'll say it one more time. Keep in mind, the previous administration had been helping them, giving billions of dollars and just asking nothing in return.
I'm gonna call Lifeline. I'm gonna tell maybe the people watching can help me out here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Trump. I'm gonna say Trump.
I'll
Yeah,
say Trump.
I think I'm gonna say Trump also.
2 strikes in a row, so I'm gonna say Trump.
Everybody said Trump?
Yeah, because he's talking crap about somebody, so it has to be Trump.
Drum roll. Everybody got this wrong again.
Oh, wow.
3 in a row.
3 in a row. So
Struck
that
out.
was Obama. He said that September 20th, 2010. And he was talking about the Bush administration. And it's false because the Bush administration imposed multiple conditions on auto companies. Remember that old auto bailout stuff that was going on? That was kind of a hint because that was the big deal back then. All right.
Yeah, I was thinking Trump because the way Trump was trying to reverse all the emission standards.
Oh, okay. That's why I try to give you that little hint with the auto industry. Oh, you talking about with that mission shirt? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right. So this is a little fun. Everybody, getting a little tricky here and there.
So,
All right. So
what's the score? What's the score? Who's up?
I think
wins?
everybody's
Tied up.
even.
It's a tie.
It's all tied.
Everybody's tied up. Yeah, man.
I came back.
All right. So we gonna move on to the next topic, to the next article. We're gonna go into the next article. Let me bring this up. Bam. So the next article that we're going to talk about is Big Brother database coming to the United States. And this article basically talks about an infrastructure being built to store eye scan, DNA, voice prints, palm prints, and a lot of things being, and this is an article from The Intercept from Felipe de la Hoz. All right, so this is an interesting article that's just talking about, as I said, a summary real quick. A rule currently under consideration would require practically everyone applying for any kind of status, and this is towards immigration status and becoming a U.S. citizen. Any status are determined by immigration enforcement agents to provide iris scans, voice prints, and palm prints, and in some cases, DNA samples. A tangled web of defense and surveillance contractors which operate with little public oversight have already begun to build the infrastructure that would be needed to store these records. So before I move on, what you guys think about that?
And you know how Republicans always like warning about the nanny state, big government when it's about taking care of people, but they love the daddy state when it comes to just growing government to punish people or controlling other people, as in, women's reproductive rights, so gay marriage. But when it comes to building government up for incarceration, like this is gonna be doing, they have no problem with it.
They just spending money. This is
I'll be honest, when I first read the article,
go ahead,
go ahead, Case. I was just gonna say, when I first read the article, I wasn't really sure how bad it was to have things like, okay, fingerprints or even like, photos or voice prints or whatever. It's not that much different than what they have now. To Bedon's point in the chat. But once they started getting into things like collecting DNA so that they could try to profile who your relatives are, or use of like facial recognition software, whether through social media or otherwise, and then the fact that government contractors have access to this data and there's not good controls around it, that's what really scared me, because we've seen a lot of these types of break-ins happen before, not necessarily with the owners of the data, but the people who have access because they're contracting with those owners. Like when you think about when Target got popped a few years ago, it wasn't Target directly, it was one of their contractors who got hit. So having those people have access to this data is very scary to me.
Yeah, in the chat, Don's talking about 23andMe, but that's people willing, doing it willingly, private citizens. It's not like force or coercion to giving it up. But even there, people have some worry because not 23andMe, I don't think, but there is one of those services that have been used in order to find criminals. They give the information to police departments to check against their databases. So some people are like, I don't know if I want to give it up now, even if I want to find out my info, because then they're going to use it for police state or something, or I don't know, maybe they're afraid, they're going to catch a relative or something. I don't know, but basically it's a slippery slope. Once you start giving your information away, you don't know what they're going to do with it.
I think it's just as bad as everything that they already have. It's just that'll be more that they have, but between Facebook, Twitter, they could put your entire profile together of like who you are as a person, what do you like, what videos do you like, what were your hobbies when you were 10 years old. Like they could put you a better map together based off of your clicks and based off of your browsing. Then they link it into your browser and other apps. Even when you're not in their app, they're still collecting data. So they could map you pretty well. Granted, they won't have your eye scan data or your DNA, but like Bedon said, they're going to get that through either Ancestry.com, 23andMe, or any of those other ones. They're still, again, they're all that stuff is out there. The ring, was it the Ring cameras? Those things are already able where police could go and look at anyone that has a Ring, and they can go check their camera to see if there was a break in the neighborhood, and
they can
track some.
They could ask.
The site, do you have to opt out of that or opt into the Ring camera network?
Opt in.
Okay. I didn't know. So
I don't know how it was when it first started, but it's opt in right now.
Okay.
I got a Ring.
I stand corrected, but it's the concern still is out there where if they want to see you on a block, they can. As long as you've opted in, they can see every camera, and that they've pretty much got a Big Brother network of cameras to watch as well. So
that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Like, so like if it's in my eye scan, for instance, you have data on that. Okay, well, what if you really think about it? What does that data really do? You can't replicate the eye scan. It's not like someone can steal that data and reuse it. Same thing, kind of like with fingerprints. It's very hard to reuse that data. But if you're talking about like facial recognition stuff, like the Ring stuff, we're talking about like, if you guys remember the Fast and the Furious, the God's Eye, being able to tap into any camera around the world and see if people are going, to certain places and who they're interacting with and all that. That part is scary as hell to me. If you have my eye scan data, I don't know. Okay. It sucks, but whatever.
Like China, can't they track you in real time? I've seen some articles and stuff where they could tell who's not in their house and who's at back when COVID started.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think I read something about that too. And it's not even that hard to do here. So I could imagine with China, having all the access to all their people's data that they have. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me.
One of the things that is I think hypocritical about all this. It's like how all of this happens. It starts under Republican administrations that always talk about individual rights and things like that when it comes to, a church's right not to, marry people, or a baker's right not to make somebody cake, because they're gay or something like that. But they don't mind big government for, like 9/11. They use terrorists as an example to build Homeland Security and ICE. Now they're going to use immigrants as an excuse to do this thing right now. So it's just a bunch of, hypocrites. And the Democrats go along with it too, as a matter of fact, because we have all those same people that get paid by the same big money industrial complexes. All those companies, the Amazons and the Northrop Grumman's, all those people, they're going to get paid and off of this from the government, and what they're doing is paying these politicians to vote for those things so they could get a return of their investment.
Yeah, have you heard, Izzy? Have you heard of this thing called GAT recognition?
GAT?
I think I'm pronouncing. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's GAIT, and this is basically
gait. No, that's for like when they can recognize how you walk.
Exactly, gait. Okay, so it's pronounced. Yeah, and it's called behavioral characteristics such as gait. So they're potentially going to be tracking that as well. So they don't even have to zoom in on your face. Like they can just see how you're walking and detect people that way too.
And they could just hire a bunch of people's wives, because my wife look at my son and be like, "Oh, he walks just like you."
Okay. And I know something that I know Izzy's gonna hate is that it says
I was
the
just
system.
gonna say this.
Yep, you were just about to say that, right? Like much of the federal government's data infrastructure is hosted on Amazon Web Services. Go ahead, Izzy, take it.
No, I was just that's exactly the point I was gonna hit on when Carlito mentioned Amazon. They're prevalent everywhere. I know they have like a government instance that's segregated from the rest of their commercial instance, but they're definitely caking when it comes to this data as well.
Oh, totally. That's why they need to be broken up. I mean, they're just in so many different industries. Like I was saying in the chat the other day, they wanted to buy CVS, and they're into pharmaceutical distributing. I think Bendon says distributing pharmaceuticals, and I mean they're just getting their hands into everything. It's really crazy.
If they're not the exact reason why antitrust laws were created, I don't know. I don't even know why they exist. Those laws, I mean.
Yep, totally. Go ahead, Gabe.
Oh no, that was it.
Wait a minute. They say the COVID app got auto-downloaded into the iPhones?
I don't know if he's just kidding or not, but...
No, that's true.
Damn.
Oof.
That's crazy. I heard Google was working on that, but I thought it was opt-in. You got to do it yourself.
Yeah, it is opt-in, because I got prompted and I said, nope, no thank you.
Auto-downloaded. Jesus Christ.
It was on. You had to go in and then you had to turn it off.
I'm saying at least it's not as bad as the YouTube album getting auto-downloaded.
So another side of this story is, I'll bring it up real quick. A former USCIS asylum officer who asked not to be named because she still works in the U.S. immigration sphere said, "It's sort of an open joke that it's a mystery who has access to what kind of data. It's like a black hole." So this system, this infrastructure that they're building, the people inside don't even know who's controlling or who has access to this data. And it just reminds me of that story that I heard about the NSA, and I think it might have been Edward Snowden that revealed this, that they have people in the Homeland Security that they're listening to the calls of our soldiers. And the soldiers, they're talking to their wives, and they might be doing phone sex or whatever. They're intimate, they're grown adults, they can do whatever they want, but they don't know that you have these perverted guys who's in Homeland Security listening, eavesdropping on their calls. So here's another infrastructure that God knows who's going to have access to this information. And also they used to sneak up, the guys in Homeland Security would listen in on their girlfriends to make sure they're not cheating and all this different type of stuff. So
Edward Snowden, the hero.
Snowden,
the hero, man.
Exactly. So these new technology can be abused by our own government, and they won't be held accountable. All right. Any last words?
And not
go
secured.
ahead, Izzy.
And then not secured. Once they get into the hands of not government, even scarier.
Not government. All right. So if you're concerned about this new infrastructure being built and wonder if is it going to be creeped, is this like a creep that is going to slowly go from the immigration sphere and then it's going to go to our jobs is going to require us to give our eye scan to enter the building? Like, let us know what you think about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe.
Let me give you a little quick anecdote on that. Probably Gabe already gave away his fingerprint to Disney already, because I heard they were doing that. What some people were doing, instead of putting the fingerprint, they were putting the back of their fingers because they got little ridges, so they didn't want to give away their real fingerprints to Disney.
That's funny. I never thought of that. That's a great idea.
Would they get back in the park though? They use the same ridges?
Yeah. You just put your, instead of using the little lines in your finger, is the same lines in the back of your, little knuckle or whatever.
Okay, that is interesting. Very, very interesting.
That's a life hack.
Yeah. All right. So as I bring up these next questions, let me see if I could find.
I'm excited for the next topic. Yeah. I am salivating.
Oh, for the next topic? All right. So
let
me see what time we got. Because
I'm gonna sit back and enjoy this one.
Yeah, let's go straight to the topic because my questions went away for some reason. All right, so I'm gonna start that off. All right. Our next topic that we're going to talk about is the richest corporations getting welfare from the government. Why do taxpayers always have to subsidize the richest corporations? And this is actually from a blog from our guy Bernie Sanders, and he talks about how the taxpayers subsidize big corporations because they give such little bit of money. They pay poverty wage, and that includes Walmart, McDonald's, and other large corporations. My man Gabe, take it away.
It is socialism for the rich, and it is rugged individualism for the poor. So if you're a working class person, they tell you pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But if you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you are able to basically get by and be subsidized by the taxpayers. FDR said that no corporation that cannot afford to pay a living wage should be allowed to exist in this country. And we have this many examples in this article, from Walmart to McDonald's to Home Depot and many others.
And who else?
Home Depot and many other ones. Amazon.
And who else? Oh, okay. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
So pretty much we have to, we need a living wage, that a minimum wage that's a living wage. So whether it's $15, whether it's more in the states that have even a higher cost of living, there's been studies that show that if the minimum wage kept up with productivity and kept up with inflation, that it would be in the 20s, not even 15. So we need to increase the living wage. We have to do things like Medicare for all, so that people don't have to go on Medicaid. As it was another thing that this article called out, was these same corporations that have people getting other assistance are also getting Medicaid because they can't afford it. So we just need to have Medicare for all, but we have to make these corporations pay, because we think, oh yeah, I'm getting better prices at Walmart, even though I don't shop at Walmart, or I'm getting better prices at Amazon, and I still unfortunately shop at Amazon. So, but at the same time, we are, through our taxes, still paying for the difference of those prices. So you're paying it now, or you're paying it later, because these corporations refuse to pay a living wage. The burden gets put back on us as taxpayers. And I did the math one time with Walmart specifically, where it was a couple of years ago, and they had, I want to say it was something like $60 billion that was profit for the year, but they were receiving something like $18 billion worth of I could be off on the numbers, but at the time it was something like that, where if they just gave a little bit of their profits, not even their earnings, which could be cost of operation or whatever, but the overage, the profits, if they just took a little hair off of that, they wouldn't need to take any money or any benefits from the government, but they just refused to. So it's, again, we have to be better about where we shop, myself included, as I click another Amazon purchase. So I try my best, but I still fail sometimes.
But they're not gonna do it unless they're forced to. I mean, that's how it is, unfortunately. And I'm familiar with that chart about productivity. And one thing that it correlates perfectly to that since the 70s is that the demise of unions at the same time. Because there's negatives to unions, of course, but I'm more pro union than not, because even if you're not part of the union, it pushes wages up for the other companies that are afraid to have unions in their businesses. So they don't want the unions, they got to pay their employees more. And that's the reason why, they have all these union busting things going on at, Walmart, Amazon, all these places. They basically scare employees into trying to form unions because they know that once they have some kind of collective bargaining power, they're able to bring wages up.
But you got to look at let's look at how good Walmart have it, right? So it's designed it's a design system. So you paid your people nothing, then you take the SNAP. So then you have those people in the SNAP program, and they get to shop in your own store. So all that money is being spent in your store. So all that profit is really basically coming from all those employees that you have in the SNAP program. And then so you have all this lobbying getting about not increasing the minimum wage, right? Because there's always the whole concept of, well, the minimum wage should not be the same. It's based on state-wise. And all those companies are just racking in all those money from government. But we also got to look about politicians, right? Like Republican and Democrats. They had the chances to increase and they never do it. And then a lot of the time, we also never talk about the voters. Like these people are the constantly folks that keep voting against their own self-interest. Like we are over here fighting for them to try to get a minimum wage increase. And they'll be the one that'll be like, nah, I don't need a minimum wage increase. That's socialism. So how do we, we have to fix the whole, we can't constantly always be like, I'm not defending corporation because they're greedy. They always be greedy. And, politicians are bought by corporation. But what do we have to do to wake people up and let them know, look, we have to vote these politicians out if we really want to have some changes.
And you talk about using our vote, right? Well, like I always say, our votes we can cast those votes at the ballot box, and we can also cast them in the way we spend our dollars. And that's key. We want to make changes in these organizations, in these corporations. We can make those changes via the choices that we make with our money. And that's key to me, because even though Gabe didn't want to touch on this, a lot of people saw that report that came out from the GAO that Bernie Sanders referenced, and they focused specifically on Amazon, because Amazon showed up in the top 25 employers with workers enrolled in SNAP in 6 out of those 9 states that were studied. And they had $5.2 billion in profit during the quarter where that report came out from. And that's after they already raised their minimum wage to $15 per hour. So if they're not the perfect example of a study where you can raise the minimum wage to $15 and still have millions of people on SNAP benefits or Medicaid, then I mean, what more can we really ask for? The $15 minimum wage is not enough. That's the bottom line. It's not enough. We have to be able to decide with our dollars and through legislation that companies like this should not be able to continue, operating this way.
Let me play a little devil's advocate over here. What do you say to the people that say, well, if you want to make more money, then don't work at Amazon, don't work at Walmart, go get another job, go somewhere else?
I mean, if they're a monopoly, though.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Gabe?
I was going to say, maybe you could go to college and spend $200,000 on a degree, and maybe you could also still work at Amazon. It's like one of those things that for a lot of people is very hard to get out of that cycle and progress.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And Bedon brings up a good point in the chat. He's asking, okay, well, where can someone shop if they don't shop on Amazon? My question was, well, where did you shop before Amazon? And he wants to be a joker and say Walmart.
That is true. I used to shop at Walmart.
But I think at this point, this is what I profiled in my Amazon video a number of probably months ago now, where it's fairly easy for us to boycott Walmart at this point. We're already well aware of all the issues with Walmart. We can do the same thing with McDonald's. Not many of us, I think, are eating too much at McDonald's anymore these days. I mean, obviously, billions of people are, but not necessarily progressives. But we have to make our choices with our dollars, and we have to shop more locally. We have to shop more in person. We have to shop less online and give up that convenience that we didn't always have. We didn't always live with this convenience. We can live without it in certain areas, in certain cases, at certain times. I don't think that's that much to ask.
Maybe one thing we need to put up is like a list of progressive approved companies. So like Lowe's versus Home Depot, and even Lowe's is on this list, even though they're slightly better than Home Depot. But come up with this list because it is hard. Like for example, I'm doing some project right now where I have to go to Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace Hardware a lot. And if I go to Lowe's and if they don't have what I need, it's like, damn, now I need to go to Home Depot, which I don't want to go there. And the Lowe's is even further than me, but then I still have to compromise sometimes. So, or I have to order something quick from Amazon. If not, I'm going to be delayed 5 days. So it's one of those things where maybe
the horror.
Yeah. So maybe we have to come up with something to make that easier too for people, where you just have all categories like ice cream, Ben and Jerry's, the most progressive, etc.
So another thing that probably us, we're a little privileged in that we could choose and we could do better. But there's some people that, man, if they're not shopping a Walmart, they have to spend a larger percentage of their paychecks at a Publix or something like that, and that's tough. It's hard to tell people that are living below poverty line to make some kind of moral decision when they need to live.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. But let's be honest here. Who's propping up Amazon more, the poor people or the people who just want the convenience and have that ability? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I completely agree with you, though. You're 100% right about. I'm not asking poor people who don't have the choice to make a different choice. That's not what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I want to say something else because I was looking at this, subsidizing thing, and I was looking at because I remember states that get more back in federal money than they put in, which is the same kind of thing about all these corporations, capitalists, whatever. And it happens to be most of the red states are the ones that pay less in federal taxes, but that they get more in return than what they actually put in. And there's when I looked it up it was just from 2019. 11 states there's only 11 states that actually don't get more back than they put in.
California, New York,
the liberal states.
Not all. There's Alabama's in there. I was surprised.
But
wow. Alabama, California, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Utah, and Wyoming. But when you look at the numbers,
where's Utah at? I never heard of that place.
But when you look at the numbers, though, the money that they're on the negative is Alabama will be like 169 million. Nebraska is 267 million. All these red states combined are less or about the same as New Hampshire. That's 749 million. Meanwhile, California is almost 14 billion. What else? New Jersey was like 27 billion. So it's like they get a few million. They give a few million more. Meanwhile, the red states like Massachusetts are billions in the red. And Florida, for example, with all their probably Medicare retirees are getting $62 billion back. And I want to give a special shout out to Kentucky with a $26 billion, which gets about $6,000 per capita tax money. Thanks, Mitch.
Oh man.
And this is the same people that would tell you like, oh, we hate socialism, and they are the one that taking all the money from everybody else.
Yeah.
They don't like taxes, but they're getting all the money from the big states that they don't like.
Yep. Any last words on this? Yeah, man. It's definitely a crazy predicament, and it seems like whenever they're like pointing their fingers, 4 fingers pointing right back at them with situations like this, with gay marriage. A lot of times you hear about the same Republican representatives railing against gay marriage, and then you find out that they're closeted gay people themselves, and they just, totally being hypocrites. That's really what it turns out to be. All right, so let us know what you think about this topic as far as, all these corporations just totally getting welfare, socialism from the government, and let us know what you think. Like and subscribe in the comments below. Now, you guys ready for some more trivia questions?
Yeah.
Who's going to come out on
gonna
top?
come back on top.
All right. So the next question is, let me see.
True.
Is this Trump statement true or false? So before, we was talking about Obama and this person, that person. Trump. Is this Trump statement true or false? Walmart announced it will create 10,000 jobs in the United States just this year because of our various plans and initiatives. The jobs. Oh, okay. I can't read that part. So let me know if you want me to read the quote.
True.
False.
Okay. You want me to read it
False.
again, or are you guys good?
No, we're good. True.
False.
No, what is? Well, I don't. Who is it? Did Trump say it true or false? Is that what you're saying?
So this is Trump saying it, right?
Yeah.
But
he
is
said
his statement true or false?
Is it a true statement? And I'm gonna say false.
So okay, Gabe says false. Izzy says.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it a true state? Did he wait? Is a question if it's true or that if he said it?
No. If it's true.
Oh, you're saying if the statement that he made is true? No, absolutely not. He doesn't say anything true. That's false.
Oh yeah. No, it's false. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that was an easy one. That was an easy one. All
Listening is key.
Listen. All right. So, who said this lie, Obama or Trump? I wasn't a fan of Iraq. I didn't want to go into Iraq. And this is in regards to the invasion.
Trump.
Okay. Who else?
Obama. I'm just gonna say Obama just to because you've been throwing some curves, and then maybe I'll get a point here.
All right, so drum roll. The persons that are correct is two people. Carlito and Izzy are correct. You guys are correct.
Hey.
Yeah, so, and probably by the bad grammar, I wasn't a fan of Iraq. I didn't want to go into
I wasn't
Iraq.
a fan of Iraq.
That's exactly how I knew.
You should have known, John. You should have known.
I just went with Gabe. I'm gonna stick with my boy.
So the truth about this statement is it has he was for an invasion before he was against it. So this is Trump, of course. So that was two questions, right? So I got one more for you guys.
Yeah.
All right. So is this Trump statement true or false? The Cuban Americans, I got 84% of the vote. And this is in regards to the first time he ran, 2016. So the Cubans Americans, I got 84% of that vote. Is that true or false?
I'm gonna say
True.
I'm gonna say false because
False. Don't say because.
I'm gonna say false and then why. I'll say why when
Okay,
this.
okay.
I'll say false as well.
I say false.
It's true.
Okay, the answer is false.
It's false because he might have gotten 84% of a certain Cuban subset, maybe in Miami, but even in Miami, I think this time he got, I think it was like 60% or 55. It was like
But
something
this is
like
2016.
not that impressive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but even then,
Okay.
going off of this time, if he got 60%, that means it's very unlikely he got 85% last time.
I see what you're saying. So I'll bring up my receipts. It says, unlike other Latinos, about half of Cuban voters in Florida backed Trump, and this is in 2016. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm really excited to show the next one, the next round, because I'm gonna switch it up, and but we'll wait till after this next article that we're gonna go.
Damn, I thought that was it. I thought I maybe had a chance at winning the whole thing. I don't know.
Nah, I got.
Well, what's that? Who's up? Me? I think me and you are up.
Yeah, John.
I think so, yeah.
Who's up?
Yeah. It's 6-6, Easy Carlito, and Gabe has 5, and I'm in last place, baby.
All right. Next week at the end, we're gonna see if you can come back. All right, so we're gonna go on to the next article. So we got when I was coming up with this topic, I think we had a couple potential titles, and one that Izzy came up with was what TFGs are going to TFG. I believe it's like the two foregoings are going to two foregoing. And basically I'm going to title this Ready to Go to War for a Con Artist. And this is a crazy article about how people are just ready to like lay down their arms and go to war for this guy Trump, who don't even care about them, and it's really ridiculous. So I go to Yahoo News and shout out Brad Brooks, Nathan Lane, and Tim Reed. And this is why Republican voters say there's no way in hell Trump lost. And basically the first story talks about this 50-year-old chiropractor where he was, the first time in 2016, he was for Ted Cruz. So he wasn't even a Donald Trump's fan. And now he ended up joining a South Plains Patriot group with a few hundred members that includes a reactionary force of about 36. And basically they all have guns and they're ready for Trump to just give the signal and they're ready to go to war. What you guys think about this crazy predicament?
What I would say is that, I talked about the potential of a civil war before the election and people thought I was crazy. And, then the election happened and everybody's like, well, we're not in a civil war, so everything is fine. And I say, don't sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just because the war hasn't broken out yet doesn't mean anything, because the people who are going to start this war they still don't even believe he lost. They still don't believe that he has lost the election. So what is there even the reason for them to start the war on? It's not going to be until he gets forced out. If he gets forced out, that's going to enrage them, because that's when they're really going to come out saying, no, he didn't lose. How are you going to take our man out? And that I'm telling you, get ready to take to the streets at that point.
Yeah, I think these people, I tell you, they believe what they believe because it made Fox News money to lie all this time, because that's all they watch. And that's what, and they kept pushing Trump, all the lies that he said, all the talk shows, the talk radio, because they wanted to keep the audience engaged. So they'll just say whatever lie Trump said, he's like, damn, we got to back it. And then after that, whenever, politicians are running, they wanted Trump's endorsement because they didn't want people to go against him. So it was like a loop that kept feeding on itself, and it got to the point now that when Fox News wasn't that crazy and they say, oh, I guess Biden did win, now they don't want to watch them either. And now they're going to One American News. So those people are they're already in a cult, man. They're not going anywhere. Or a lot of them are not going anywhere as long as they keep watching these kind of places that all they care about is money.
Oh, this is where I think, when Gabe and I always tell you guys that we don't give Trump enough credit. Like, he knows he lost, but he's gonna milk his fan base and he's gonna take that money. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's gonna take their money. He's gonna say, yeah, we lost. We didn't lose. They rig it. And they're like, oh, donate $20, $25, $100, whatever you can. And then he's gonna switch it up to one of his account. And then come like January, he's gonna be like, yeah, we just need to go do whatever you want. But he already took all the money from them.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that.
The donations went up to 75% going to his account instead of the recount.
That's crazy. At the beginning, it was half, right?
It kept going up.
Wow, that's crazy. The other day I saw 60%. I hadn't heard of 75%. So pretty much, if you're donating to Trump's reelection or Trump's litigation fund, 75% is going to pay Trump's debt, and only 25% is going to what you actually were donating for. Yeah. That is a crazy number.
I heard Rudy Giuliani
is depressing for the people that are donating, because who reads the terms and conditions? It's like when you sign off on a new app that you downloaded and they say read the terms and conditions, nobody reads it. And the same thing happens here. You could be somebody who's trying to do what you think is the right thing by trying to donate to Trump and to help his litigation, but he's already grifting. He's already conning them during that. Even on the way out is the final con that he's getting in to get people to give him money, people that don't have money, people that are working people. And he's going to take 75 cents of each dollar and put it into his own debt where he's a billionaire. It's socialism. He's socializing his debt. It's preposterous. And then they call the left socialists, and Trump is using his base to socialize his debt. It is.
I think you gotta give him credit though. It's like that. A lot of people don't. They're like, he's not that smart. That's a pretty smart move. You take advantage of your base.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. But I think it's like whatever. I think that some people they're either stupid. I'm sorry to say it, or they. I
don't like the word stupid. I like the word ignorant.
It's not ignorant.
I prefer people that don't, because Trump,
it's not ignorant.
Fox News is misinforming people. They've been
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. It's
They
not
don't even
ignorant
believe
with a lot of
Fox News
cases
anymore.
because they don't. It's like they don't believe in sunk cost fallacy. They'd rather just continue with the charade and get robbed than actually admit that they were wrong. I told somebody it's a Trump supporter about this money, and he said like, well, Gore did it too for his recount. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Even do a recount.
Wow. for fight for litigation to take it to the Supreme Court. I'm like, what? Did he take all this percentage or whatever? I was like, yeah. You know what? Just show me. Send me an article, something. Show me.
Yeah.
Of course he never did.
Of course not.
He never did. But they rather continue to be taken advantage of than to actually admit that they were wrong about anything related to Trump.
There have been studies that show that show that people that watch Fox News are actually less informed than people that don't watch any
news. Yeah, I saw that
so
from
that's
Fordham University.
And what's interesting, the interesting twist in this is that now that Fox News has kind of come out and said, you know what, the election does appear that Joe Biden's the president-elect and we need to get behind him and whatever. People are now turning away from Fox News and saying, well, now you're wrong. So even though they follow Fox News religiously for so long, as soon as Fox News goes against, the what they've been programming their base for, the base turned on them. It's like if you created a monster and then the monster turns on you. So Fox News is like the Dr. Frankenstein.
Listen, get ready for Trump TV.
Trump TV is coming.
Next.
But that's the one thing that I'm happy about this is how they turn it on Fox News. It's like, I hope your ratings drop. That's what you created.
Yeah. Izzy, you was gonna say something?
Yeah, Michael in the chat called it the grifter in chief. That's right.
I have some interesting stats that I put together from what I could find at least, and it's kind of a joke, but I looked at like what some of the popular conspiracy theories are and how much like support they have in America. So approximately 7% believe that psychic readings are real. About the same amount believe that chemtrails exist. 13% believe astrology is real. 16% are not even sure if the Earth is a sphere. Mm-hmm. And then look at first of all, we all know that that's all crazy, right?
Have you been to space, Izzy? Have you seen the Earth?
Don't give them fodder. And then, but then you think about it, almost 50% of America voted for this guy, and a vast majority. Well, maybe I shouldn't say a vast majority, but a lot of people who voted for him also believe that he won this election. So that number has to be higher than all those numbers I just gave you of those crazy conspiracy theories. And that is so scary to me.
Totally. Yeah. Totally, man. Yeah. So it seems like I think that this guy Trump is ready for 2024, man. I think he's coming back. The only way we could prevent him from coming back is the Democrats to pass a law that say you need to show 10 years of your taxes. Do you think that the Democrats are going to do it?
No.
Nope.
That one is so easy. That one is that's so easy that.
But that's why they're not going to do it. It's too easy.
No. You guys are too negative sometimes.
I'm cynical,
that
man.
one is like a duh. Like, what will they have to lose from that?
But hey, right when they won the House, the first thing everybody thought that they were going to do was get Trump's taxes.
The Senate was not going to do it.
No, the House.
And you
think
they're going to do it now?
And they're not doing it now either. But I mean, back then, when everybody thought that. I remember that, and it's just funny how Americans forget. Like, we just go along with what the mainstream media gives us. I feel like they literally could have gotten Trump's taxes when they first took the House back in 2018, I believe it was. And they did not do anything. Matter of fact, they made sure they didn't allow the New York, because the New York state could have gotten his taxes too, and the House prevented it. I forgot the guy's name. Prevented the New York from revealing it. Go ahead, Carlito.
Yeah, but that was because that legislation was, I think it was more broad than that. And there was the guy, I forgot his name, but I think the guy you're talking about, he has some kind of shady deals going on. So he didn't want to reveal his own stuff.
Yeah, absolutely right.
But if you make it to be like only people running for president, they'll pass that. I think they could pass that. I don't even see how even Mitch would not do it unless they think Trump is going to run again. That's the only way the Republican senators wouldn't even go for it.
Yo.
But if the Democrats happen to win these runoffs in Georgia and they get +1 and they got a majority with Kamala to be in the deciding vote, I think they could pass that.
Doesn't matter if they pass it because Trump can show his tax returns and just be like, yeah, I didn't pay any taxes. Like it came out when some of his tax returns were leaked and they showed that he hadn't paid hardly any taxes, that middle class working people paid more taxes than billionaire Donald Trump. And he just flipped it. He's like, well, it's because I'm smart. It's because I have the best accountants. It's because of this. So if that could have only stopped him in 2016, if it happens in the future, it's not going to necessarily be a bad thing with his base because he really can't do anything wrong to get his base.
But this is what I'm talking about, not depending on norms. You can't just assume people are just going to follow what everybody else has done. If you want something to happen, you got to make it into a law. So if you want to set a precedence for the future, anybody else is running, then just make it a law and stop depending on people to actually do what the norms were at a time when we actually care about them.
Alita, I don't know if you're being affected by the hot lamps you have on you, but it sounds like you have a fever. If you think that Mitch McConnell is gonna pass even a law that's simple,
I was thinking the same thing.
That's gonna get through this.
No, that's what I said. It depends. If there's any chance of him thinking that Trump is gonna run again, then probably not. But if the Democrats have 50 plus Kamala, then yeah. I think
that reminds me of the old Key and Peele skit where they had Obama that was going for everything opposite of what the Republicans were going for. So he would take their side and then they would have to go against him in order to just be against him. So he would get his laws passed. So they would be like, you know what? I hate healthcare. I want nobody to have healthcare. And then the Republicans would be like, no, everyone needs healthcare. And then he would be like, okay, you guys win. I think that there is something to say about that kind of skit that happened years ago, but it probably would be pretty applicable now.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one. All right, so guys, how I'm going to end this segment is, should liberals get guns? Put it in the comments below. Let us know. Nah, but seriously, we don't want anybody hurting each other or going out there going to war with all Americans, and hopefully this is going to get wind down soon. I heard that some business leaders are coming out there and they're trying to pressure his team to finally concede. So we'll see if that happens.
I tell you what, if there's a mass movement like Black Panther to get all black people with guns, they're gonna pass gun control with a quickness.
Real quick.
Like tomorrow.
But only in inner cities and these zip codes, and if you have this amount of income and all the ways that they can determine if you're black or not.
Yes.
So Izzy, right. He's very worried about the Civil War. I'm still of the camp that there's no money to be made in the Civil War, and the corporations are still more powerful than everyone. So for them, it would be bad business to have civil war. So for them, they're going to do everything in their power to keep the money train rolling, whether it's with Trump or whether it's with Biden or whether it's with whoever. I just don't see there being, I don't know what the end game of a civil war would be, So it's kind of like they'll get him in power and then what? And then the country's burning and then people are dead and then nobody's buying things and nobody's
but what are the corporations? What do the corporations have any influence over the TFGs? I mean, I agree with you, but they have no influence over these TFGs who want to start the Civil War. Yeah,
I think there's going to be, but there's a potential of having some of these militia groups, whatever, starting something, but I don't think it will get like very large scale. It could get bad enough that in certain pockets, it could be, deaths even, but I don't think you'll ever get like all out.
All right, so I'm going to end this segment and let us know in the comments below what you think about, all these Trumpers out here. And do you think that they're going to be back in 2024 if Trump runs again? Let us know in the comments below. All right, so we got 2 minutes left, so I'm going to try to wrap it up with these questions, and we're going to see who's the big winner. All right, so here's the first question. Who said this lie, Obama or Trump? What I have done, and this is unprecedented by the way, no administration has done this before, is I've said to each agency, don't just look at current regulations or don't just look at future regulations that we're proposing. Let's go backwards and look at regulations that are already on the books. And if they don't make sense, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of them. Trump.
This is a curveball.
Yeah,
That's not a curveball.
Because the wording, it almost sounded like Trump, but it sounds like something that Obama has said.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Obama just to.
I'm gonna go Obama.
Okay, John.
I'm gonna be with Easy and go with Trump.
Okay, Izzy. The answer to this question is Obama said it.
Wow.
Obama said it June 29th, 2011. And it's a lie because several previous administrations did that same thing, that they went back and got rid of regulations. All
Sure
right.
you didn't change up the wording, Case?
Nah, that's the exact word. All right. And then who said this?
Let's stop right now that I'm winning.
Now that you're
Stop the count. Stop the count. Stop the count.
I think the last
Count the
question.
votes.
The last question, we should do a wager. We should do how much are we willing to bet?
This
the
guy
last
always
one
with his bets.
is going to be really
Breaking
tricky.
news. Trump
Yeah.
agrees to begin transition to Biden administration. Shout out to Nancy Venture in the chat.
Nice.
I just
Thank
confirmed it looking at The Guardian and a couple others. Trump
you.
agrees.
Oh, wow.
Transition to Biden administration can begin. Breaking.
Yeah, we were just talking about that too. Like I think
Breaking. The Civil War will not happen.
like Gabe talked
I don't know
about
about that
before. Gabe talked about how, if you're not gonna make money, if the business owner's not gonna make money, they were probably worried about Wall Street going down, the stock market going down. So they said, hey, we need to wrap this up. Let's get it going. All right. So the last two questions real quick. So this is the next question. Is this Trump statement true or false? Walmart announced it will create 10,000 jobs in the United States just this year because of our various plans and initiatives.
False.
Okay, is he false?
False.
Carlito false.
I didn't even hear it. I'm just gonna say true because it's my only way to tie Carlitos. True.
I'm gonna go against true. I'm gonna go true because I need to come back somehow.
Yeah, Gabe and John is wrong. Carlito is wrong.
I didn't hear the question.
All right, so
I
this
was
is the last
typing.
question.
I was shouting out Nancy Venture in the chat.
So this one, I was very excited for this one because it reminds me of the hidden case of the fallen Justice Democrat, and we're going to find out who this person is, what the answer is. All right, so this is the question. On one of these people's sites, it had Medicare for All in 2018, but in 2020 it did not. So I'm going to show the picture of people. So here's the first person. It's going to be three people that I'm going to say. Have Kara Eastman is the first person. You have Richie Torres is the second person. And then you have Marie Newman is the third person. These are all people who say they are progressive and they have said that they were for Medicare for All at some point. But I did the research and I just happened, and I'm going to describe why I did this research, but I'm going to throw it to the team. And people in the chat, throw out who you think had Medicare for All in 2018 on their website, but in 2020 they did not have.
I'm going with Richie Torres because I know that. Yep. I know that he was a fake.
Okay, Carlito.
I was going to go Richie, but also since if Izzy would have said somebody else, I would have said that person anyway. That way he can't catch me.
I'm gonna say Marie Newman.
Okay, Marie Newman. Okay, and she won actually. Richie won. Kara lost. But so everybody did not. Okay, Carlito, you said.
Oh,
who?
can I switch to Kara?
you forgot about Kara? What happened?
I was gonna say because she lost. So usually when people go against Medicare for All, they lose.
All right, so this is the final. Izzy, what do you say?
I'll say Marie Newman. I honor my pick.
Izzy, what do you say?
I'm gonna go 4 points for Kara.
4 points.
So you going for Kara for real?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, Izzy. Richie.
I said Richie already.
Oh, my bad. And Carlito said Richie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the only person who got this right was John got it right. Gabe
I knew it.
Gabe should have changed. But
I know. I just didn't want to be that guy. But
Nah.
you gave us, once you said she lost, that was the hint that I knew it was her.
So
Because when you go against Medicare for all, you lose every time.
Yeah. So this is the reason why I looked this up actually to the beginning. In the first place was a couple weeks ago. We had that article and we talked about the DCCC was supporting Kara Eastman, right? So for some reason, a nagging feeling this whole time was in the back of my head, like, why would the DCCC support Kara, who the first time she ran, she did not get support from the DCCC and the Justice Democrats and other progressives. That article was talking about how they were not supporting her. But then we said at the end that the Justice Democrats did, it was an update to that article, and they did decide to they said they was going to put money in the race. But so I looked up, I went in the Wayback Machine, and I'm going to bring this up here. So this is her website from 2018, and it has Medicare for All right here, right? This is from 2018. And then from 2020, I was looking for it. Can't be found anywhere. Cannot be found anywhere. So just platitudes or the same gimmick roll from, Obamacare. We're going to strengthen Obamacare and all that bad stuff. But yeah. All right. So did you guys enjoy the questions? Who won, John?
Well, since I do my own count like Georgia and Florida, I won.
This is fraud.
I won. I won.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Who won though? Carlito?
Carlito was the real winner, but I'm not conceding, so I won.
Yeah.
Nice. Good job. I hope everybody had fun. And in the comments or in the chat, I hope you were playing along. And there it is. That's the show. Any last words before we head out?
Yeah, we're gonna do like around the horn. So whoever wins gets an extra minute or so to talk about. So I'm gonna talk about my Atlanta Hawks again.
All right, go ahead.
Before they were the trendsetters doing early voting for the presidential election, and they got other arenas around the country to do it as well. Now that we're having a runoff in Georgia, they again will be doing early voting there, and they're going to be joined by the concussion ball Atlanta Falcons. So they're not losers in this. They're doing good for something. But yeah, so for anybody from Georgia that's watching, they're going to be doing early voting from December 14th to the 19th. Then they're going to be a little break. The NBA season starts. So then the Atlanta Falcons is going to take over, and they're going to do it starting December 22nd to December 30th.
All right. Much love. I want to give a shout out to Vote Down Ballot Progressives said, thank you for exposing. So that's what we do, man. We expose these fake progressives. And, I'm not even going to say that she would have been a totally bad progressive, but it is something to say about someone who changes their position, especially on a popular position like Medicare for All. And I think this is something that we got to warn future candidates that if you're going to say you support Medicare for All, then you better support Medicare for All and other progressive policies.
But on one last note, that Richie Torres guy is a fake progressive.
Yeah. He said he was for Medicare for All, but then he also said that he considers himself like a moderate Democrat. So he's just a confused guy.
He was endorsed by the New York Times. That's all we have to know.
That's all you have to know. Yeah, I don't trust him. I'll just put it that way. All right, guys.
I consider myself a moderate Democrat because I like stuff that the people like Medicare for All.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
All the 85% of the party wants Medicare for All, so that's moderate.
Yeah. You also shop at Amazon.
So true. All right, we going to head out of here. Thank you for coming up and coming on the chat. Anybody we got to shout out? Nancy Venture, I want to thank you for coming out. And everybody else in the chat. Anybody else want to chat? Who's moderating the chat?
J-O.
Yeah,
J-O
go ahead.
in the chat.
J-O. I think he's a Trumper though. Is that a Trumper, yo?
I don't know, but he came to support, so that's cool. I'll take the views.
Yeah. Everybody come back. We like the opposite opinion. We like our opinion. We always want to keep it real. We always want to talk up and debate. So
just be productive.
So jump in the chat.
Just
watch us 8:30 every week, 8:30 every Monday.
All right.
Live.
All right.
Robert Wilson, The Love Always.
Yeah.
And Michael Corcoran.
Yeah.
No, Robert was quiet today. I was expecting a lot from Robert today.
Me too. Robert was kind of quiet, definitely. But much love to everybody, and we're going to get out of here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Much love to my guys, Carlito, John, Gabe, Izzy, and we are out of here.